Welcome to the Sense Check Lab, the podcast where science meets everyday questions with rigor and clarity. Today, we chew on the facts about chewing gum. Does it really protect your teeth? Can it whiten your smile? And what are the real risks beneath the surface? We take a deep dive through authentic research, cutting through the noise and online debates to bring you evidence-backed insights. So when most people think about chewing gum, it's often, one of two things, right? Either that super sugary stuff from childhood.
Right, the bubble gum.
Exactly. Or maybe the sugar-free kind the dentist sort of vaguely mentions. But it feels like sugar-free gum has moved beyond just being a less harmful treat.
It absolutely has. We're really talking about a preventative tool now. The evidence is strong enough that major bodies, think the FDI, World Dental Federation, the ADA in the States, even the European Food Safety Authority, they all recognize sugar-free gum, SFG, as actively helping prevent caries.
Cavities.
Cavities, yeah. That's a pretty strong endorsement. And it immediately tells us where we need to focus today, strictly on the sugar-free stuff.
Okay, hard line drawn. Sugar gum helps decay. Full stop. But sugar-free. What's actually in it? It can't just be like rubber and mint flavor.
No, not quite. You've got the basic gum base, which is insoluble, and then flavorings, sure. But the key is the active ingredients. Often these are sugar alcohols. Polyols is the technical term.
Polyols, like
Okay.
xylitol. I hear that one a lot.
Xylitol, sorbitol, mannitol, those are common ones. Or sometimes artificial sweeteners like aspartame. And it's important to remember, these polyols, great for teeth, but our guts don't really break them down well.
Okay, so that's the link. The thing that makes it sugar-free is also why too much might cause digestive issues.
Exactly. The benefit and one of the main risks are chemically connected right there. It's dose dependent, of course.
Got it. Okay, let's get into the science then. How does it actually work? I gather there are sort of two main ways SFG protects teeth.
That's right. There's the mechanical benefit, just the act of chewing, and then the chemical benefit, especially from ingredients like xylitol.
Let's start with the mechanical part.
Yeah.
Saliva, right. Chewing makes more saliva.
It really does. And not just a little bit more. It dramatically increases the flow rate. Think of it like turning on a tap in your mouth.
Okay, dramatically. How much are we talking? Like double, triple?
Much more than that, typically. Your resting saliva flow is pretty low, maybe around 0.3 milliliters per minute. Start chewing gum, and that can jump way up, somewhere between 1.1 and 1.8 milliliters per minute.
Wow, okay. That's a big increase. So what does all that extra saliva actually do?
It does three really important things almost immediately. First, simple oral clearance. All that liquid just physically washes away food bits, sugars, acids left over from eating.
Okay, flushing the system. Makes sense. What's number two?
Acid buffering. This is critical. After you eat, especially sugary or acidic stuff, the pH in your mouth drops. It gets acidic, down around maybe 5.8, which is when enamel starts to dissolve.
The danger zone.
Exactly. But chewing stimulates saliva that's rich in bicarbonate, which is a buffer. It quickly pushes the pH back up towards neutral, maybe 6.8 to 7.2. This neutralizes the acid attack, usually for about 15 to 30 minutes.
So it stops the acid damage almost right away, like a natural antacid rinse. And the third thing?
Remineralization. Saliva is naturally full of calcium and phosphate ions. It's actually supersaturated with them. When the pH is neutral, thanks to that buffering.
The minerals can go back into the teeth.
Precisely. Those calcium and phosphate ions can precipitate back onto the tooth enamel, repairing tiny areas that were just starting to demineralize from the acid attack. It helps rebuild the tooth structure.
Okay, so just the chewing action itself, more saliva, washing, buffering, remineralizing, that sounds pretty good on its own, even without special ingredients.
It is. It's a significant benefit from any sugar-free chewing. But then you add something like xylitol.
Right, xylitol. Well, here's the star player. Why? Is it just better at the buffering thing, or is it doing something else entirely? More like attacking the bacteria.
It's definitely attacking the bacteria. Xylitol is chemically different. It's a 5-carbon sugar alcohol. And the main cavity-causing bacteria, Streptococcus mutans, well, it can't properly digest xylitol.
It tries to eat it, but gets nothing.
Worse than nothing, really. It expends energy trying to metabolize the xylitol, but the pathway is blocked. Scientists call it a futile metabolic cycle.
Futile cycle. Okay, so it basically starves the bacteria while they try to eat.
Essentially, yes. It messes up their energy production, which inhibits their growth, reduces the amount of acid they can produce, and even makes it harder for them to stick to your teeth in the first place.
That's clever. Like a Trojan horse for bacteria.
Ah.
And the studies you mentioned, the results seem, well, pretty dramatic. Reductions in cavities up to 70% in kids using xylitol gum.
The clinical data is quite strong, yes. Studies have shown those kinds of reductions in caries incidence and also significant drops in plaque levels, maybe up to 38%. But there's a catch.
There's always a catch.
Well, it's about consistency. Those big results, they come from regular, consistent use, following the right dosage and frequency if you just chew it now and then.
The effect drops off. Makes sense. We'll definitely need to cover that practical advice later. How much, how often?
Absolutely. Adherence is key for the therapeutic effect.
Okay, let's switch gears slightly. What about the whitening claims? You see gum advertised all the time. Whiter smile. Is that real? Does it bleach your teeth like peroxide treatments?
Yeah, that needs a bit of a reality check. The whitening from gum is almost always an instant optical effect. It's not actual bleaching. It doesn't change the intrinsic color of the tooth.
Optical effect. So, like a trick of the light. How does that work?
It's basically color science. They add tiny amounts of coloring agents to the gum, often a specific pigment like blue coverine or sometimes certain blue dyes.
Blue. Why blue?
Because blue is opposite yellow on the color wheel. Teeth naturally have a slightly yellowish tint. When you chew, this blue pigment deposits a very thin layer on the tooth surface.
And the blue cancels out some of the yellow, making it look whiter.
Exactly. Your eye perceives it as less yellow, therefore whiter. Studies show it happens fast, like within 2 or 3 minutes of chewing. The effect is measurable, similar to some whitening toothpaste that use the same principle.
So a temporary cosmetic boost, not deep stain removal. Good to clarify.
Very temporary, yes. It washes off.
Right. Now, the less cheerful side, risks. If we're chewing this stuff multiple times a day, especially with active ingredients, what are the potential downsides we need to be aware of?
Okay, probably the most direct risk comes from the chewing itself if you overdo it. We're talking prolonged chewing. Some research suggests maybe over 3 hours total per day.
3 hours. That's a lot of chewing.
It is. But if someone does that consistently, they're basically over-exercising their jaw muscles. This can lead to muscle pain, joint pain, arthralgia, and potentially contribute to temporomandibular joint disorder, TMD.
Oof. Like getting tennis elbow, but in your jaw.
Kind of, yeah. The joint and muscles aren't meant for that kind of constant workout. And related to that, excessive chewing, especially in teens, has also been linked to chronic headaches.
Why headaches? Is it just the jaw pain radiating or something else?
It could be the TMD itself causing referred pain. Or some hypothesize it might be linked to high intake of certain artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, though that link is debated.
Okay, so mechanical stress. What about chemical or physical risks? We touched on the digestive thing with polyols.
Right, the GI issues, that's definitely dose-dependent. Too much xylitol, sorbitol, etc. draws water into your intestines. For some people, that means gas, bloating, discomfort.
And for others, more severe?
Yes, it can lead to diarrhea, especially in higher amounts. It's known to potentially aggravate symptoms for people who already have irritable bowel syndrome, IBS.
Okay, noted. And wasn't there something specific about older fillings?
Okay.
Amalgam.
Yes, that's a really important one. Chewing gum, the physical action, has been shown to accelerate the release of mercury vapor from dental amalgam fillings, those older silver ones.
It shakes the mercury loose, basically.
The mechanical stress and maybe even the slight warming effect seem to increase the rate of release. Studies have found higher mercury levels in blood and urine of people with amalgam fillings who chew gum regularly compared to those who don't.
Wow. Okay, so if you have amalgam fillings, you really need to think twice about chewing gum frequently, or at least talk to your dentist.
Definitely a conversation to have with your dentist, yes.
And one more safety point, specifically for the little ones.
Yes, a crucial one. Choking hazard. Organizations like the U.S. Department of Agriculture advise against giving chewing gum to children under the age of 4. The risk of them accidentally swallowing and choking is just too high.
Right. Absolute vital point. Okay, so we've got the good, the saliva boost, the xylitol weapon, and the potentially bad jaw strain, GI issues, mercury release, choking risk. How do we put this together for listeners? How can you use gum effectively but safely? What's the practical advice?
Well, the absolute first thing is context. Gum is an add-on. It's an adjunct therapy. It helps, but it never, ever replaces brushing twice a day and flossing.
Foundational habits first. Got it. Then, for the gum itself, what's the prescription based on the research? When, how long, how often?
The evidence points towards chewing sugar-free gum after meals or snacks. That's when your mouth is most acidic. You want to do it at least 3 times per day.
3 times. And for how long each time?
Minimum effective time seems to be about 5 minutes to get that good saliva flow and buffering started. Some dental bodies actually recommend chewing for a full 20 minutes after eating for maximum benefit.
5 minutes minimum, maybe up to 20.
Okay.
And if you're specifically using xylitol gum for the anti-cavity effect.
Then the total dose of xylitol matters. The research suggests aiming for at least 5 grams of xylitol per day, total. And importantly, it needs to be spread out over those multiple chewing sessions. A big dose once a day isn't as effective.
Right, so hitting that 5 grams, split maybe 3 or more times a day, chewing for at least 5 minutes each time right after eating. That's quite specific.
It is specific because that's what the therapeutic studies use to get those good results. It needs that frequency and dose to really inhibit the bacteria effectively.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Who stands to benefit most from adopting this kind of routine?
I'd say 3 main groups really stand out. First, anyone identified as being at high risk for cavities. That's often children and adolescents, but adults too. Second, people suffering from dry mouth or xerostomia. Chewing is a fantastic way to stimulate their own saliva.
Yeah, that seems like a huge quality of life boost for them.
It really can be. And third, people with orthodontic appliances, braces. Aligners where regular cleaning can be trickier. Gum can help clear debris and buffer acids between brushings.
Okay. And on the flip side, who should maybe steer clear or be extra cautious?
Well, based on the risks, anyone with existing TMD symptoms or maybe chronic headaches should probably limit or avoid it. Definitely talk to a doctor or dentist. Anyone with amalgam fillings needs to be aware of the mercury issue and discuss it. And as we said, absolutely no gum for kids under 4.
Clear guidelines. Okay, let's try to wrap this up. We've seen that gum, specifically sugar-free gum with xylitol, isn't just candy. It has real potential dental benefits.
It does. It works through that dual action boosting saliva's natural defenses and then xylitol actively fighting the harmful bacteria.
But it's not magic. It requires that consistent, specific use, the right timing, duration, frequency, and for xylitol, the right total dose.
Exactly. It's a tool, a very practical, effective supplement if used correctly, especially for those at higher risk. But it supplements, it doesn't replace the basics.
Right, a useful addition to the dental toolkit. And just as a final thought for people to chew on, so to speak, there was that interesting little finding about appetite.
Ah, yes. Some research suggests that chewing gum after eating might actually help reduce feelings of hunger slightly and maybe lead to eating fewer snacks later on.
So beyond just teeth, potentially a tiny nudge towards managing overall intake too.
Potentially, yes. It's an interesting side benefit to consider, a little bonus effect from that post-meal chew.
Definitely something to think about. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sense Check Lab. Your time and curiosity mean a lot to us. If you found this deep dive into chewing gum and dental health insightful, please share the episode with friends and family and follow us to stay updated on future evidence-backed topics. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and take care.